Hi there, I'm Spicy Steve, and today we're at the Richmond Public Market on Westminster Highway in downtown Richmond, and we're going to explore some exotic Asian seafood. Crab, scallops, eel, turtle, exotic and familiar. We're going to explore today, so join me. G'day mates, ever had your hand in a bucket full of eels? Well seriously, these are yellow eels, freshwater from Vietnam. Eels are something that are an Asian delicacy, and the Japanese use them. The Europeans use eel too, and freshwater and saltwater varieties are both used. This is a yellow eel from Vietnam. There's also white eels down here at the Atlantic Seafood Market in the Richmond Public Market. And they have a lot of neat exotic meats here. These can be steamed, stir-fried, used in sushi. There's a lot of different uses, and they're very popular for Asian consumers. We also have a lot of lovely fish here. Some of it you'll recognize, and some of the fish will be a little bit new to you. Sole, you're used to seeing sole all cut up. Well, if you want to get a nice whole sole that you want to steam or poach yourself, you can come down to some of the Asian markets like Atlantic and get a whole sole. Another fish, which I love, and I used to eat a lot of in Asia, is tilapia. There's a freshwater tilapia, and this is a lovely fresh fish to be steamed and served because it has delicate flesh. And again, if they're previously frozen, you can also use them in stir fries. Remember, fresh fish should be steamed, and the frozen usually has gone into a stir fry in that because it loses a little bit of the moisture. But try a tilapia. It's a wonderful fish. I think you'll really enjoy that one. Rock cod is another very underrated fish. Look at this poor guy. Rock cod is one that a lot of fishermen throw back when they catch in local waters, but the Chinese praise this fish and use this in a lot of dishes. A nice rock cod, it may look scrawny to you, but there's a nice bit of tender white flesh on it. And if it's fresh, it should be steamed the Chinese way. A little Chinese cooking wine, cilantro on top, bit of ginger. My wife makes it just delicious, and a lot of the restaurants will prepare this for you. So if you're fishing and you catch one of these and you don't get your prize salmon and you're going to toss it back, if you got a friend who's into fish, bring it home because it's good eats. Maybe something you want to try a little different too. Rock cod. One of the wonderful things about coming to a public market and getting fresh seafood is shellfish. These are manila clams. Great for stir fries, great for steaming. There's also oysters. You can't get by this time of year without trying some fresh oysters. They're a little difficult to shuck, but you can have your fishmonger shuck them or take them home and give it a go. You can also put them in the oven and just have them pop open after you cook them. Another thing that you don't see so often is fresh scallops. Often people wonder, what does a scallop look like? This is an actual fresh scallop shell. Brown on one side, white on the other. A little different than the ones that you see in a lot of the seafood stores. Snapper is also a popular fish for everyone, not just the Asians. It's one that you can get a sort of good value out as far as the flesh and the amount of meat that you have, and they come in different sizes as far as the varieties of snapper that are out there. Now salmon, this is not something we think of as Asian, but the Asians love salmon as well, and you'll find that salmon do occur in Asian waters as well in North Asia. This is an Atlantic salmon, and what you want to remember here is when you're picking a salmon, if you want to know the difference between the Atlantic and the Pacific, usually there's almost like a marbling. You see more strains of almost marbled fat in the Atlantic than you do in the Pacific. And when you're picking a salmon, here's a nice fresh one. You want to push the skin down and have a bounce back. Do you see how I'm doing that? I'm tapping it. If you tap it and it makes a big indentation, the fish isn't that fresh. So make sure you get a nice fresh fish when you're buying it. It hasn't been sitting around for a long time. Now here's something that's exotic, gooey duck. Now I remember down at Birch Bay walking along and having these clams, and we used to jump and they'd shoot up the liquid as they started bearing down, and we never ate these because they'd have to be ground up and put into a chowder. But the Asians have mastered a way of eating gooey duck, and they strip part of the hard part back and they chop it up, and it's often used in soup. So it's quite a delicacy, is gooey duck. And even the Japanese are into gooey duck clam and other varieties. Here's another ingredient that's highly prized in Asia and was very popular in the last century in Europe, and that's turtle. These are bred in Hong Kong and farmed and shipped over here to make turtle soup. And how could any Asian banquet be complete without fresh crab or lobster? Here I have an Atlantic lobster, and sometimes we can get Gulf of Mexico or Southeast Asian, and a fresh local Dungeness crab. Nothing more tastier. For Shaw TV, I'm Spicy Steve at the Richmond Public Market.
For recipes and information on cooking classes, visit spicysteve.com.